Friends, I've warned you many times that China is at war with us, and we're just too stupid to understand that. We keep acting like nothing's going on. Just look at what we just found out about the SIM card facilities in New York. Oh, but it's bigger. Oh, they found more. And they believe there's a lot more of them in the United States. So, what's so significant about this the SIM card situation? What's significant about it is that not only can they take down the cellular network, they can take down the internet because you access internet through your phones. So what they can do is just flood the whole system with these hundreds of thousands, millions of SIM cards that get out there, just flood the whole system and shut everything down. And almost everything we do these days goes to the internet. Even when you're a store buying stuff, the signals for all these transactions go where? To the internet. So they could really bring mayhem on this country just by that alone. And that's just one thing. I've warned you guys about that. I've warned you guys about how they got sleeper cell agents near the FBI, even under Christopher Wray in the past, warned us how they had our water facilities targeted for contamination. We've warned about how they've got their systems in our defense. They've hacked our defense computers, and that's maybe why all the generals had to meet in private. We don't know what that was all about yet. There is, they've hacked the cranes at the ports. They've hacked our power system. They've hacked the transformers. They've hacked the sources of power. They probably got your smart meters hacked. Oh, and it's more. Just wait till you see this. It's crazy. Plus, then you got to consider this whole thing of they've got these biolabs like the one we found in Reedley, California. Oh, it just goes on and on and on and on. Yeah, we just act like nothing's happening. We act like it's all just nice and wonderful while they have been shipping, been the source of, that little thing I call F-ball, which, ends in anal and it starts with fent, which has taken out about 70,000 Americans a year. So far, over 250,000 we've lost due to that, but that's all okay. Of course, they run that through certain cartels that are highly tied in with, which also seems to be a part of this SIM card network too. They're taking advantage of that. And of course, China launders the money back from all these uh, gangs. So even though we're focusing down south, a whole lot of this comes right out of Beijing and up to Xi Jinping because he's in charge of everything. Yet we just act like everything's nice and hunky dory, and we just tend to ignore their role in this whole thing. We tend to just act like, well, nothing's happening. So I don't know what that's all about, my friends, but I really think we've got to wake up and smell the roses. I think we've got to pay a lot of attention to this. And some have even suggested that Russia's war with Ukraine's a proxy war for China. They're certainly behind it, and people in Europe need to take note because a lot of people in Europe, well, the leadership, the ones that want to give you digital ID over there, like Keir Starmer, people in Europe, a lot of the citizens are waking up to this, and even some of the journalists, I'm going to show you, are starting to write articles where they're seeing that China's a threat to them. China, I've been saying China's the biggest existential threat to the world. And most people just haven't figured that out because they've laid down, and played quiet. And that was part of their policy. But I'm going to show you that too. I mentioned this before, that was part of their policy to just kind of lay down, and bide their time and be quiet while they spread their tentacles, while they metastasized throughout societies around the world, while they got in our colleges, while they got, oh yeah, and they're buying into our companies. They are getting our intellectual property. They're stealing, they're spying on us. And the whole time, oh yeah, you spy on China, you get, no, they ain't not lenient. But what do we do? And said, but you're like I said, you're people over there waking up, not the leadership. So if you're in Europe, you might want to pay attention to some of this stuff. Your leadership is not serving you. They're serving the house of Klaus. They're serving globalization. They're not serving the people. And you need to wake up to that. Now, somebody accused me of just being all American centric, and a video I just put over on my Swivelhead News channel. Guys, this is worldwide, and everybody in the world is subject to this. It don't matter what race you are. Somebody, oh, you just put white boy news out. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be. Who's Candace Owens? She's a nice little white boy, ain't she? Anyway, guys, it's time to wake up. So many people see so much of the news from the left because they castigate everything in that light. Everything is racist. Everything is, well, it's just these disaffected white boys. I'm going to tell you something. The whole world is at risk here. And I've been trying to wake everybody. When I am advocating that we do stuff to save our power grid, the power goes down. Does the power grid care what color you are or where you're? No, it don't care about none of that. That's been one of my chief things I've been rallying for here, was to preserve our power grid. That affects everybody, even if you're lefty, commie, or whatever you are. Everybody is subject to the same threats in the end. A lot of people just don't want to realize what we're facing, and I'm trying to wake people up to that and make people aware. What color you are, what sex you are, or what shade between the two you are, got nothing to do with the threats we all face. Now, some people have been deluded to thinking that these threats aren't there. They've been deluded to, I don't know, the news media does not serve this country well, not the lamestream news media. It just does not serve the people, except maybe on a platter. Yeah. So in the end game, where all this goes, and this is what I've been trying to warn about, where all this goes is you will own nothing, you will be happy. And some people think that's good because if they don't realize, oh yeah, when they get that chip put in, it ain't going to be all steaks and roses. They're going to be mind-numb robots because they don't have to support all that anymore. Once they got you, they got you. Once they got you, it's game over. It's game over. These people are like lemons. Lemons being, going over the sea, or like cattle being herded into the house of where they get rendered into meat. I got to be careful what I say on here, but you know what I mean? They just don't see what's coming. And I've been warning about this stuff. I've been warning that you don't want to go down the road. And yet a lot of people think that's the way to go because that's where fairness is. That's where justice is. No, that's not where fairness and justice is. That's, yeah, everybody be the same, pushing daisies or being mind-numb robots. Yeah, what people just don't, they're telling us where they want to go with this. They tell us. The upper elites tell us. And nobody wants to listen. And they're also the ones that pay for a lot of these social instigations we see. They pay for that stuff. What do you think about George Soros and all these guys? They're funding a lot of this stuff, and yet they just don't want to pay any attention. What about, and like Antifa is not an organization. Yeah, who's this guy who was basically treasurer for him, who just tried to flee the country and for some reason his plane failure got stuff. I think they should have let him go to Spain. We didn't need him over here. Already robots. Too close, Adam. Too close. They're really getting us, but they want to suck us in even deeper. That's the scary part. I mean, once they really get you, you'll have no free will. I mean, I just played a video, either on this channel, I think it's over on Swivelhead News. I played the guy saying, hey, the whole idea that you got free will or a soul is an illusion. That's the guy that's advocating, one of the chief guys that's advocating that y'all get jacked up, bzz, like on the Matrix. Except, you won't be able to pull the jack out, I don't think. Well, maybe you can. But, it's disgusting, what a lot of people are falling into. But they've been led down this by a long time of the major news media, lamestream news media, hypnotically telling them the same stuff. And it's hypnosis, basically, mass hypnosis. Listen to us. Listen to us. Listen to us. This is the way it is. This is the way it is. It's like this. It's like this. It's all just this. And it's a bunch of hooey. Now, I'm not saying everybody on the other side's right either. But what I'm saying is that we have a case of mass hypnosis. We have two diametrically opposed worldviews in this society. It's got us pulled to the verge of civil war. And I don't know if there's a way back at this point. Civil war is the ugliest thing in the world. We don't want it. You might think you want it, but it will be so ugly it's unimaginable. But a civil war combined with World War III, maybe the Civil War is a stage, one of the theaters of World War III. That's more like where we're heading. Yeah, and who's putting a lot of this stuff in the universities and putting all this stuff into the heads of our kids? You know, what are those Confucius Institutes? How deep is China in our universities? Very. Now we're trying to, Trump is trying to extract some of that, but he still plays softball with Xi Jinping. Really and truly, he threatens big tariffs, but he hasn't come through with them. So maybe he's playing 4D chess on that one. But there's some question marks on him, especially these Epstein files. And some people don't want to pay attention to that. I mean, I'd choose Trump over Kamala any day because I do believe in the right to arm bears, if you know what I mean. I just did a video earlier that I posted talking about, how even Canadian preppers looking to come to the United States now because of the how the laws are taking away the freedoms to protect yourself in Canada. What is this? You want to let in all the gang members, and then when somebody tries to get them out by laws that we pass, following the laws, you fight it. Really? People that are taking out 250,000 of our own citizens? I think they got some red stuff on their hands. I got to be careful what I say on here. But, guys, you know, this is horrendous. It's horrendous what's going down. I'm going to show you. I'm going to check the chat room after I go through some news. I'm going to go through it so deep tonight because we're really late getting started. I really try to get these things started early. It just takes time to put everything together. I just had to come out. But there's another thing I got to warn you about. And I'll show you some articles on in a couple of minutes. Because I posted them on Facebook and a bunch of guys, oh, that's not true. That's just some meme. And then I posted the actual articles from the FBI backing up what I'm saying. So, oh, well, you posted that first. Get the grief, people. Here's the deal. The cartels, and you need to know this, especially if you're planning to travel. The cartels in Mexico are threatening U.S. tourists. Yeah, if you go down. But you got to remember, those same cartels are all over the United States. Maybe they'll do it down there first, but they're in this country. And certain people are trying to keep us from getting those people out of this country. Wow. Wow. Yeah. All I got to say is wow. Hello, Saxon Riverstone. Are you in Great Britain? Because we're going to talk about Great Britain here a little bit. or United Kingdom, excuse me. United Kingdom. I don't know what are you, Britain, Great Britain, United Kingdom. We also got, Scotland and Wales, North Ireland. Anyway, guys, we got a lot going on right now. What happened? Did I? No, I guess I'm still alive. I thought my screen flashed and it went too large is what it did. I want to do a share screen. I got to minimize. So give me a second, guys. We're going to go and show you some of the stuff I'm talking about. And, a few of these talking points where you see across the news. I'll bring you the news so you don't have to spend all day reading it like I do. Anyway, give me a second. I got to find the share screen. Make sure I don't kill the video. Yeah. Ooh, is that it? No, that's it. Hang on. Well, I hope I got the right thing up here. There it is. Yeah, I see the green border. Now I know I got the right thing up. Sometimes this stuff just don't go too fast. Violent drug gang threatens U.S. tourist. And Cash Patel is in terrifying message after the raids and weapons seizures. He's warning us about this. He's telling us that this is the case. If you're going to Mexico, you got to be careful. Even Baja, California. Right now, this Hurricane Priscilla's down there, bringing some rain up here, but it ain't hitting me. It's going east of me. It's going west of me, all around me. It started on the other side of me, and it's coming this way. Stop, restarts. It's like I'm in some kind of a vacuum here. It's happened a lot this summer. I did get some rain, a couple weeks ago, and I've got little showers, and my guys all around me are getting flooded. At least my dam probably ain't gonna get washed out. Maybe I don't know. I was worried about that earlier. But I don't know. It's not over yet. But anyway, so yeah, Baja California made me think of Hurricane Priscilla. Maybe, oh, shoot. Yeah, that's over there. I ain't gonna go get them right now. We'll do an egg guess toward the end of the show so you can figure out how many eggs I got today. But don't start guessing yet. It'll be the first after I say go, it'll be the first person to get the right number after I say go. Anyway, now, uh, and maybe this is in part in response to the Trump administration ruling the cartels are unlawful combatants. But I agree with this Emmon Blair. It is about time because guess I'm back. For some reason, my Zoom dropped out. Maybe it don't like what I'm saying. There's gremlins in the system. Interesting. All right, I guess I got to hit the share button again. Hang on. It just knocked me right out. Don't like what I'm saying. Anywho, so I'm back. Sorry, guys. Nothing I can do about it. That's odd. Starlink don't do that. Anyway, hey, I'm talking too much truth. Truth, like Dr. Ruth. She was funny. Anyway, rhymes. Now let's get back to the SIM card business. They found 200,000 more SIM cards in New Jersey. New Jersey, as my Peruvian army buddy used to call it. New Jersey. 200,000 more. And then they found more. They turned out they hit like 5 different places. Well, the original stuff you heard about was just one location. You know what precipitated all this? Why they finally went after? That's the one. Why's the Secret Service the one doing after this and not the FBI? I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm not seeing this in too many articles. The fact of the matter was, one of the top officials in the Secret Service got swatted over a call that went through the SIM card network. That's where they traced it back and found out where it came from. One of the top Secret Service officials got swatted. And you could equate getting swatted to a attempted murder. I'll be careful what I say here. But that's one way to look at it because when these SWAT agents come in, they're told that somebody's been held hostage, somebody's been offed, something awful's happened, and you got to get there immediately. And they come in breaking in the doors. And if you're at home half asleep, and suddenly your door gets smashed open and the lights are shining, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to reach for a means of self-defense. And when somebody grabs a means of self-defense, they often get eliminated. But it's your right to defend yourself. Nobody should be smashing your door in like that. These SWAT teams need to really go back and redo what they do and how they go about it because they've taken out a lot of innocent people. But a lot of it has been instigated by this swatting crap. So, in any event, this went on the radar for a long time. A lot of people got swatted apparently, and some people thought it was funny for a while, and they were calling in SWATs on just various people just because they thought it was funny. One of my subscribers, who's also a YouTuber, quit YouTubing live because of that. Now, somebody ain't gonna be able to come down here and pull that crap on me. I am very remote in any event. So there you go. This is yeah, they won't even know how to find me because Google Earth sends you the wrong way. Maps sends you the wrong place. When you put my address in, if you knew it, it would send you the wrong place. I got some pretty good security down here. Anyway, all that aside, um, yeah, they keep finding this stuff, and that's what precipitated them looking. The first place they found them was just right close to the UN, and right when all the world leaders are meeting there. They're finding these all over. And I think they're in every city. Basically, they're thinking there's at least 60 of these around the country, maybe more, just based on some of the intel. And this is one of the article. This is one of the earlier articles where they're talking about 300 SIM servers running more than 100,000 SIM cards. This is from an earlier article. But just let you know, this stuff is serious. I'm telling you, this is where they're coming after us. And what kind of damage can this do? Disable cell towers here in New York City, but wherever. Overwhelm networks by sending out 30 million text messages per minute. Yeah, they can't handle that. Network overload, when done maliciously, is a cyber attack, is a denial of service attack, or more commonly, a distributed denial of service attack. That's what they call it. And they say these attacks flood a network or server so much traffic that cannot handle any legitimate requests, such as emergency services. If you need to call 911, you don't get through. And if there's something that's going to go down, they probably will do this before it so that you can't use emergency services. So if they're going to make an attack on something, and another means, some sleeper cell activity, you can expect this to precede it or be part of it in concert. So why they invest so much to have these systems all over the country, huh? Just to play twiddly dink or you don't twiddle their thumbs or something stupid. No, they put a lot of money and effort into setting all this stuff up, and they're not easily caught and found. They're very covert. And a lot of times, criminals will set up their own little server networks like this and spam call you and, pretend they're your bank or something and try to get you to do things you ought not do or say over the phone. Don't just take, don't subscribe to anything and give people your secure personal information if you're called over the phone. Oh, we got a great loan deal for you. We can give you $70,000 and you only got to pay $300 a month. Yeah, right. I get about 2 calls a day like this. You gotta be kidding me. Anyway, but they can mask encrypted communications between nation state actors, criminal groups, and possibly, sleeper cells or other terrorists, because it's not going through the legitimate network. They got their own network. They're using our cell towers, but it not using the servers and things. They got a whole way of running this under the radar. And so that's what that's all about. It's not good. So consider how they could bring us down, considering a threat. Like I said, with the BIOS. Why would they have a bio lab like we found in Reedley, California? If everything's hunky-dory and nice and wonderful, why would they be plying us with all this F-ball? Why all that, huh? Why are they investing so much in missiles? And why are we so stupid to be using all our ammo up chasing whack-a-mole with Houthis? Anyway, guys, if the grid goes down, and you can bet that's part of their agenda if we get into full-blown war. I understand the grid's down in Ukraine right now for the most part. Anyway, so if they take out the big long-range transformers, it ain't coming back. And, you better have something you can barter with. That's one reason I kind of like this idea of gold you can hold instead of all these certificates and retirement things. I mean, that's probably got its place, if society stays glued together. But, gold you can hold has a dimension of its own, right? Because, and silver and other things too. But this Defy the Grid's got a special deal. If you come in here, and they got this deal that if you find a better deal anywhere else, they'll meet it or beat it. And nobody else does that. Nobody else has got that. There it is. Find a better price, call us today, and we'll meet it or beat it. They sell gold, silver, platinum, palladium, all kind of stuff on here. You can buy coins, rounds. And what I like for the purposes of bartering, you can do junk silver, of course, but goldbacks, because it's a small, they're in 1,000, they're denominated 1,000ths of a troy ounce. So think about it. Just think about it. Right now gold is really up. It just went down a little bit. It always goes down a little bit after it spikes. It went over 4,000. It'll probably go right back up again. Might be a good time to buy it, but past performance is not an indicator of future performance. And I'm not a financial advisor. So, just take this as an opinion. But having something you can barter with, beans and bang bangs might be, but you don't want to barter something that somebody's going to toss back at you, served hot, if you know what I mean. Be careful with that. But look at silver. It's almost $50 a troy ounce on silver. Yikes, guys. We're in funny times, but let's get back into this. Even the Mississippi River. See, what I told you in the past, one of the great strengths of America is that we've got this huge interior land. We got the biggest river network, bigger than all the rest of the world's navigable waterways put together just in the Mississippi alone. Not to mention all of our others, but this connects so much of the interior of the United States, our farmland, our factories, and gives us a port down in Louisiana that all this stuff goes through. So this is an amazing attribute we have here in the United States. It's a huge blessing that we've got that sets us apart and can keep us free. That and the fact we got oceans between us and the rest of the world, as if they don't come here and wipe us out with stuff like they had in Redley, California. But anyway, so this whole thing about targeting the Mississippi River is that they want to hit us right, they'll stab us in the heart, basically. What they're doing is they're going in and they're still in intellectual property to deal with things for, our ports and river traffic. And they're buying in these corporations, buying in their energy companies, they even bought into SpaceX. Elon's a little too close to China. That's my biggest complaint. A little too close to China. So, and, China's trying to build their own equivalent to the Starship. So, Elon, what are you doing? What the heck are you doing? Letting these guys buy into Starship. And this is crazy. But anyway, so we're seeing this stuff, guys. We're seeing just all kind of craziness like this. I'm gonna check the chat room a little bit. So, how can you think that this is friendly? How can you think this is good? I can't see it, guys. I really just can't see it. But they're after all of our infrastructure, everything. Now, here's what the British, or some of the citizens and journalists, at least, like this Gordon Rayner, are waking up to this and trying to ring bells to people over in Europe, especially in Great Britain. All the evidence that China is a threat to national security. And what he's really faulted is the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and a lot of the powers that be in the government. Hey, we got a super chat. Samuel Turner, good to see you up, buddy. All right. I think there's only days and not months to WWIII. Yeah, and that may well be. We're in October. They just had a hurricane, a typhoon over there. As soon as they get the ports clear, who knows? But thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Samuel Turner. Good to see you in the house. All right. Sam Turner, y'all pay attention to him. He knows what he's talking about. So, and that's what I'm trying to get your attention to. Why would he invest in all this stuff to take us to our knees right here at home? I've been telling you guys, I've been warning you over and over and over. World War III is not going to be just overseas. It's going to be right here. And all this civil strife we're having in this country is probably connected. Probably connected. Even what's going on in Ukraine is probably connected. And you can expect mayhem in North Korea and gosh knows where else. So, but some of them in the United Kingdom are waiting. So what are they doing? They are allowing China to build this ginormous embassy in the United Kingdom where the old historical mint used to be. And it's going to be nothing but a den of spies. They don't need all that over there except to increase their spy network on Great Britain, United Kingdom. So if you're in the United Kingdom, you need to pay attention to this stuff. Check this out. This is in the Telegraph, which is a United Kingdom news service. You can find it telegraph.co.uk/politics. And you can find this article there. Gordon Rayner, he is waking up to it, and he's trying to get his countrymen woke up to it. People need to pay attention. I'm telling you, it's not just a thing here in America. It's what I'm trying to warn you guys. Even the global South that thinks China's their buddy. China wants everybody to think they're their buddy, and then once they got it on you, they'll turn the tables on you. Like I said, China is ruthless when it comes to arresting foreign spies. Starmer needs to take note. See, this is another article trying to wake up people in the United Kingdom to this. And it's not just the United Kingdom; it's the whole world, especially Europe. And a lot of them are thinking, well, we'll keep our trade going with China. You need to think about this real carefully, guys. Real careful. And so, guess what? It's not just, yeah, I kid you not, they're spying against our kids. And this is from the Justice Department. Department of Justice stipulated court order resolves allegations that Chinese toy maker Epitor Technology violated children's privacy laws. They were taking personal information from the kids who were buying these little robot toys, and it was going back to China. They're even spying on our kids. Whoa, Samuel Turner! Greg, get lunch on me today. Let's hope we are both wrong about World War III. You and me both. I hope I'm so wrong it ain't funny, and I will laugh if I'm wrong. I'll be joyous because I don't want this to happen. But salute, Sam Turner. Wow, man, you're great. Really appreciate you. You're such a great support of the channel, and you're dead right. Absolutely. Anyway, can you believe this stuff? I mean, it's just too much. They're spying on everything, everything and everybody. Boy, everything and everybody. Like I said, if you're spying China, they'll get you. But this is what I've been talking about. Deng Xiaoping. Deng Xiaoping. He had this policy. See, Mao had a more aggressive policy, but after Mao, the next people that took over the Chinese Communist Party decided, well, we need to quieten down. Because if we quieten down and play nice, we can metastasize our influence across the world. And we'll get them to pay for it. We'll get them to buy our junk, and we'll become the world's factory because we can do cheap labor. So he had this policy, Deng Xiaoping, and it was hide your strength and bide your time. Why are you going to bide your time? Hide your strength and bide your time. And so one day, it's a Sun Tzu. This is Sun Tzu. So one day they can come at you. This is what this is all about. And this ain't just a game against the United States. This is their world policy. Hide your strength and bide your time. Hide and bide is what it was called, instead of the older dare to fight. So, but now that they've gotten where they're at, they're not playing that game anymore. Oh no. Now that they are the world's manufacturer, now that they control so much resources, Xi Jinping, he's got his new policy that China began to take a more combative approach to diplomacy. Wolf warriors who strident outbursts pilled the nationalists at home and alienated other countries. So what? Everybody's still so greedy. They're still going to trade with them because now they're in. Now they're in. They're in their system. It's hard to get out. Because once you get so dependent on them, you send all your manufacturing over. What do? We can't even make nothing. We got to buy everything from them. We're going to have to borrow money from the Chinese to buy bullets from the Chinese to shoot back at the Chinese for getting war with them. See how that goes. That's kind of where we're at. That's stupid. That's stupid, really. Anyway, I've been warning against this. Who's listening? We got to get the word out. We got to start. Call your Congress critters. Go to freedomrestorationfoundation.org. Go to the Action Center tab and scroll to the bottom. It tells you how to get in contact with all your Congress critters and state legislators and such. It tells you how to email, how to write, do all that stuff. I pay for that website on my own pocket, by the way. But there's nothing on the internet anywhere better that tells you how to do all that. I put it up there myself. Now, no other YouTube channel talks that way. Some people I've seen come, what do we get over here? We don't get anywhere else. That's what you get here. And you get a rocket scientist bringing it to you. Yikes. Anyway, so, and a lot of good people in our family here, such as Sam Turner, who's such a great supporter, and all our mods in here, and everybody else that watches. We get a lot of regulars in here. So really appreciate all of you. So you're all champions, patriots, but we need to spread the word. You need to share my videos. Anyway, and China's saying, you want to attack us, we can take out all your submarines. Everybody thinks our submarines are ultimate. But you say, oh, we got another Sam Turner. Wow, Sam. Greg, just remember, if I die, you'll become the ugliest man in North America. Hey, I may already be there, Sam. Thank you. Anyway, and he always gets a laugh out. So he warns us and he makes us laugh. I like that. All right, sounds great. Appreciate you, man. Anyway, so China is got a big data fusion system for locating our submarines worldwide. And I've reported before that the satellites are part of this. They get satellite data. And this article don't talk about the satellite data. It talks about all the other little aspects of those things. What they determine is that even when a sub's deep underwater, it does create just a little turbulence on top. And it gets a track. And this can be detected from satellites that's got LiDAR monitoring the oceans. Put all this through the data fusion all along with sensors are putting in the ocean, with drones, data from drones and data from ships and other similar sources, which if I can get this art page to me, where's my cursor? Oh, what's happening here? Everything's blacking out on me. Whoa. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, wow. There we go. Jeez. My system's freaking out on me. Let's show you some of this down here. Toward a 3D underwater hunting network. So they got sensors in the water. Now, this is not talking about the sensors, nor it's talking about drones, but no, they've actually got buoys and underwater sensors, especially around the oceans of China. We're talking about putting these all over the world. So they're considering a light version that could run on unmanned ships, underwater drones. They're talking about the ships they've got in their Navy, air drones, aircraft. They're taking all this data and putting it into the AI system for monitoring our submarines. And they're out now. They're making this bold claim, and that's kind of unusual to make a claim like that because usually you keep stuff like this quiet. But maybe they're just trying to deter us. But China claims U.S. submarines only have a 5% chance of surviving. And what they have claims they could take out our submarines worldwide. Now, I don't know how they get that kind of reach because they got some Dongfeng missiles, which are considered carrier killers and Guam killers, but that's about the reach without going to intercontinental ballistic missiles. And they don't truly have a blue water navy, but they're around China. Oh yeah, they rule. They rule. And of course, balloons will also be a good data source. So I've done covered that already. And just kidding. But changing theaters. There's stuff going on in Russia. For some reason, we are flying our so-called secret, top secret. Yeah, how top secret is it if everybody knows about it, right? Our top secret U.S. spy plane seen circling Russia amid World War III planes. Yeah, the RC-135U. Combat silencer. Yeah, top secret. Now, top secret's that. Well, maybe what's inside the craft is top secret, but everybody knows this thing's flying around, including the Russians. So, considering the meeting we just had with the generals, considering we took all our KC-135 tankers and over there, something may be about to go down. We don't know. We just don't know what they talked about with the generals at Quantico yet. So, of course, Russia's coming out and says, hey, we can take out all your Tomahawks. We know how they operate. We know all about them now. We've studied them. We know how to take them out. Tomahawks are really hard to take out in the air. I'm not so sure about that, but they may have another way to do this. That's what they're doing right now. They're striking Ukraine ports where Western arms just went in. Just launches a Russia launches apocalyptic attack on Ukraine. Explosions rip through Western weapons. What they're doing is that this is particularly some shipments just went in from Turkey to a port, and they just tore it asunder. So that might be a part of how they would deal with tomahawks. I don't know. But in any event, tomahawks start flying into Russia. We're really on a slippery slope there because Russia is if things get too far, if they feel like their regime is actually threatened or Putin feels personally threatened, all bets are off. You put the bear in a corner and you poke it endlessly. At some point, that bear, it's got some teeth and claws, and it's called nukes. That's our last resort. We don't want to push them to that point. I just hope that, I don't think the people in Europe got any wisdom about these kind of things. The kind of stuff they've been doing, the fact they seem to really want a war, and that really does seem to be the case. I don't know why. It's like insanity to me. And this is why I think the United States ought to get out of NATO. Where you get pulled in all kind of stuff that's none of our business really. And let Europe deal with this European problem. Anyway, but then Trump's once again saying, well, I'm close to ending the war in Ukraine. Huh? We've heard this once before. Maybe he's got a trick up his sleeves. Maybe it's got to do with the tomahawks. I don't know. Close to ending the war in Russia. Ukraine, excuse me. I don't know. I hope it's true. I hope it's true. That's all I can say. I hope it's true. Oh, wait, what happened here? That's not the article I was looking for. Anyway, it's over here. Fox News is getting to be a pain now. Well, it just so happens, what just happened? A bunch of anti-Israeli, pro-Palestinian protesters were attacking police. And this just happened. They were attacking police in downtown Boston for a pro-Palestinian protest. All while at the same time, Hamas just basically agreed to the peace treaty. So what are they attacking for? And why attacking police? Of all places, in Boston? Jeez. So Blue City, of course, that's the only place that all this craziness happens in blue cities, right? The blue cities like it. They yeah, you can't stop the craziness anyway. But the word's out that Hamas agreed to the peace deal, hostage deal, at least the hostage deal. So they may be still negotiating parts of the peace plan, but it seems to be happening. So what are these protesters protesting about? They just like protesting, maybe. Anyway, some of them are paid. Anyway, and there's even been rewards offered for bad stuff they might do if they go to jail. They'll get more money and get their defense paid for. Now, y'all might know, and I can't talk about elections on here. I can't tell you certain things because this platform won't allow it. But there's a certain opposition leader over there that got a whole lot of votes, it seems. And he's actually for U.S. putting pressure on Maduro. So you think, Maduro was going to stay in power no matter what. That's what those guys do. The election was just, he thought he could stuff I can't say it. This platform would get me. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Jeez. Anyway. Now, Bibi Netanyahu has just claimed that Iran has intercontinental ballistic missile. And it's a threat to the United States, he's saying. Well, they haven't yet built a nuke as far as we know. Now, I do believe they've had maybe up to 4 from Kazakhstan when it fell. But when they're looking at Israel, it's got a couple of hundred. I think they wouldn't be too fast to use one on us, I wouldn't think. I think they want to hold them in case they get into a really ugly slugfest with Israel. I don't know, they might want one to hold us hostage, but they can't do a whole lot of, can't say that it would be a whole lot of damage to use one over here. So I can't say that they wouldn't, My fear has always been that they would sneak something into Venezuela or off the coast of Venezuela. Like they won't do it right now with our naval fleet down there, thank God. But our naval fleet probably won't be there forever. And if Maduro stays in charge, we're at risk. We're at risk from down that way. But will he survive? You have to check out here what you're saying. Thanks for the thumbs up request there, Jason. Anyway, so guys, this is serious. This is so serious, it's not funny that what we're faced here, and this is probably just Israel trying to draw us into another war with Iran. They want us over there fighting Iran, and we're liable to get drawn into a land warfare over there if we're not careful. But you can't really change a regime by bombing from the air. You got to put boots on the ground, and that's not a place you want to put boots on the ground. It's so mountainous that it's would be awful. We need to stay out, especially if we're going to be getting into it with China. We don't need to be wasting our stuff on Iran. Iran's a little two-bit player compared to the Chinese dragon. So I hope we don't have a war with China. But really, China's, like I said, they're already at war with us, and they got everything set up just to take us to our knees in the snap of a finger. That's what we got to watch out for. And that's why you better be prepping, my friends. That's why you better be getting ready. You need to be paying attention, like all the rest of the tech billionaires. Yeah. Why is it all the tech billionaires are prepping to the hilt? Like Zuckerberg got him a whole big estate there on the island of I can't pronounce that Hawaiian word. Kauai. Kauai. I don't know. Maybe in the United States, but don't mean I can pronounce it. Yikes, guys. He's not the only one. They're all prepping to the hilt. Lots of rich people prepping. So what do they know? Even Bill Gates has got all kind of underground facilities. He may be more worried about the guys with pitchforks and torches. Ooh, kind of, yeah, it made my skin crawl when he was in that big stateroom with Trump. But anyway, let's change topics. Let's talk about the Earth. They're saying that the Earth's crust is ripping apart beneath the Pacific Northwest. We got Chewy Weather in the house. This is his territory. Oh, he went to a protest today with a camera. Hope he's okay. Hope he made it out and back. Maybe we'll get some news from him firsthand. He went to Portland to the protest. Yikes. Anyway, but yeah, up there in the Pacific Northwest, yeah, get the Juan de Fuca plate. Everything is going crazy. But it's bigger. Now they've determined that both the Cascadia subduction zone and the San Andreas fault are connected. That when one goes off, the other goes off. When you have a big one on one side, the other goes off. They can't tell if it happens. They're looking back at geological records. They can't tell if it happens within minutes or if it's days or weeks, but it's pretty close. When one goes off, the other goes off. And what I worry about the Cascadia subduction zone is when it goes off, it's putting a lot of the Earth's crust underneath the West Coast. And you got Mount Rainier there near Seattle that's already got a lot of activity going on, earthquakes and stuff there. And, what happened to Kamchatka Peninsula is when they had that big earthquake there, the volcanoes went off. So you could see a 1, 2, 3 punch all up and down West Wokistan. That's what I call the West Coast, West Wokistan. The Northeast is East Wokistan. We're all Indians here in the middle between East and West Wokistan. If you remember, when India was divided, it was originally India with Pakistan, East and West Pakistan. So that's kind of what I talk about sometimes. I mentioned that way years ago in a bug out video. Chewy Weather noticed that, and he brings that up occasionally. East and West Wokistan. But yeah, West Wokistan will be in bad shape. So maybe it's a judgment of God. I don't know. not calling for nothing like that. Everybody needs to be ready for crazy stuff to happen. And Rex Bear and I was at the I did a video with Rex from Mount Hollywood, whatever that mountain is there, where they got the observatory up there, where we went through the Hollywood Tunnel back when I shouted light. Yeah, we got it on video. There is we were up there just looking out the valley, and we're talking about what would happen if you had an earthquake, how everybody would be trapped in that bowl, how ugly, almost 20 million people trapped in that bowl where Los Angeles is. The freeways would collapse. The only way in and out would be the ports and the airports. So yeah, it would be really bad. You wouldn't be able to get food and supplies in and out. Yeah, that place will be awful. Yeah, if you're living in that area, you need to think real hard about it. I always advise you guys, don't get away from the cities if you can. Get away from the cities. But that's my bottom line. And so this is really not about politics, but just the whole West Coast can go off, up and down the whole coast. And speaking of that, let's look at some earthquake stuff. See, what takes me time is to set all this up so I can segue from one topic to the other, rather than just have them all scattered. I try to do that, and for your benefit, so it makes a more continuous story. Well, the Puerto Ricans are dancing as usual. Good for them. Like here in Texas, about 4 earthquakes right in here. Yikes! And then we got up here in Nevada. Lamy, that's predictable. Look around here, all up and down, around close to the San Andreas Fault, the Juan de Fuca Plate. Yeah, it didn't do what I wanted it to. That's where the crust is getting tore up, and you got a big volcano out there too. That's probably that volcano doing there. Kamchatka is still rocking. Boy, they've been having aftershocks ever since that big one. Yeah, so what's the biggest one here? 6.0. That's an aftershock. Think about that, guys. Whew. We got a big one down here in the Philippines. Oops, I kept one more recent ones. I got a bunch of shots coming out of this one. 7.4, Santiago, Philippines. Wow. Oh, ring of fire, guys. Just look at it. It's all lit up right now. Oh, just had a recent one over in Puerto Rico. Look at that, guys. 5.2, 5.1, Fiji's. Wow. Something big may let go on the West Coast. West Bokistan. We'll talk space weather. Now I'll come in here and look at the chat room. Yikes, guys. The big coronal hole on the sun of a big that's going to be sending out a lot of solar wind coming to Earth, going to create some aurora in a couple of days. That should be party. Got some pretty good auroras over Alaska right now, and Alberta, Yukon Territory, northern British Columbia, and the northern part of the western, provinces there. So let's see here. Asteroids. Well, there's nothing really big coming between the Earth and the Moon, or the Earth and the geosynchronous satellites that we know of. We always find them after they pass, right? So stuff could happen. We got a lot of comets in the sky. The ancients considered comets to be a harbinger of war. We got Swan, Lemon, Atlas, 3i Atlas, and some other comet out there right now. So I'm gonna stop the share. We'll stop the share, and we're just gonna talk right here. We'll go to the chat room. Any of that, let's see here. So who's in the house? It's getting late. It's already 1:30 my time, and I got to get up early to work tomorrow. Talking Venezuela will shore up the petrodollar, which is the real reason they want the conflict. It may be related. Venezuela shouldn't be poor. They ought to be rich. It's the government that's got them screwed up, and they know it. Look, a third of Venezuelans have fled Venezuela. It's that bad. A third of the people there have fled the country. Yeah, that place is right now one of the worst economies in the world, and yet they got the most oil in the world. Shouldn't be like that, but that's where communism takes you. And you look at Singapore, no natural resources, and they're prosperous as all get out. Because they have capitalism, which happens to be the single best economic engine invented by man. And it's not perfect, but it will bring prosperity. So, hey, Zen Jammet, the family's here. That's right. New days, morning to you. Val, hello and peace. Yeah, we hope we get peace. Tiffany, the backstory. How you doing, Tiffany? Robert Preston. Crazy now you're talking. Crazy now you're talking. Good to hear you. Okay, good. Hey, Preston, are you saying Preston that's with our uh, uh, red outfit, with our task force? Uh, Southern Girls, aka Patricia. How you doing? Good morning to you, Cuban nurse prepper. Did you remember the movie about the cell got taken over China? I can't remember the name. I don't know. The best thing we could hope for the people in China get tired enough of the regime running them that they take care of business there. And they might, but they don't have big historical precedents for that. But they're not happy over there, not by a long shot. Hey, Ray, they messed. Oh, so let's see here. Lemons, yeah, lemons. I don't know if I can pronounce that right. I make it sound like citrus fruit, right? The way I say it. Lemons. How do you say it? Tico. I was in Verde Valley in the mid 90s in Sedona. Yeah, it's not too far from me. Tifa Trump Roundtable. What did he cover? Vape King. All right, we got a soldier from Georgia, 12 Bravo, Georgia. Tico, Greg, have you figured out garden and use water absorbent crystals? I'm going to use everything that's natural. I got to get more biomatter in the ground. I got to get some trenches dug and go hugelkultur. But I was supposed to have somebody bring me a bunch of wood chips. It didn't happen. So I got to work on that some more. She said, right, the arm bears. I'm in arm bears, you know, flip it around like, I like to, I keep a lot of nugs around. You know what that is. You got to flip that word around too. Anyway, Carol, good to see you. And Exo or Exona Tech Sound. I don't even know how to say that. I just got up for work. I'm still up. Yeah, I'm still up. Yeah, I did freeze. Sorry about that, guys. Wasn't my fault. Gremlins. Gremlins in the system. They have phones now with digital SIM, so no SIM swap. Here in Maine, we're voting on the red flag laws. Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't know how many they got, Carol. Maybe it's different than just swapping SIM cards on phones. Yeah, right. Scooby Snacks. How you doing, Scooby Snacks? Good to see you in the house. Been a while. I'm not very tech and medical. Well, somebody's got to be medical. I'll be tech. Thank you for sharing my link. New days. Eddie, Bowie. Good morning to you. Yeah, I did a little video earlier today walking around the place showing that I got a dam that might be at risk if I get too much water. It rained real hard just to the east of me, really hard, and it's raining real hard just to the west of me, but it's kind of split. I just got just a wee little bit of rain here, just enough to barely get the ground moist so far. And then it says we got 100% chance of rain today. I barely call that rain, but I guess out here it qualifies. All righty. So, Tiffany, remember when the Furbies got the Pentagon? Huge ordeal. They had to be interrogated, and agents had to learn Furbish. Oh my gosh. I'd rather have tribbles than Furbies. Remember the trouble with tribbles? Oh, so where did Z had a stroke? There's been a lot. There's been, you got to give it some time. Sometimes he's had a tendency to disappear a lot. And when he disappears, there's about 40 YouTube channels come on and tell you that he's out of the commission. He's no longer in power. And yay, barely he always comes back. So give it some time. There's always these claims. I've seen them many, many, many times. Look, Z's gone. You used to hear the same kind of stuff about Putin a lot too. He's gone. He's out of power. He's been overthrown. He's pushing daisies. Really and truly, if he went out of power, you might be back to the Deng Xiaoping's policies, but then never, as long as the CCP's in power, don't ever trust them. Sometimes they like to lay low and be quiet and make you happy. What I tell you, Sun Tzu is, relax, relax. Can I get you a drink? Can I get you something, maybe some shade, keep you out of the sun? What can I do for you? And just lay back here in this lounge chair and everything will be cool. Just, you can sleep, whatever. And when you're all laid back and relaxed, it comes up behind you and jab, jab, That's Sun Tzu. So watch it. Deng Xiaoping, he had that policy. You just got to pay attention, guys. Yeah, thank you for showing the Freedom Restoration Foundation. Yes, Carol Sam Turner is super, absolutely. I'm so sick of that I might add. Oh, I might. Oh man, there's some gross ads out. So that's one of the things that gets me, especially about YouTube. YouTube wants to really chomp on us creators because we might say something, do something the ads don't like. And then they put out ads where somebody's got a little flywheel. You put this, you buy this, you'll never pay for electricity again ever, or some little thing where you put a couple of probes around. This is going to take care of all your utility bills and blah, 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 blah. There's tons of scams in the ads. And then they put ads across. The ones I used to hate was the ones where where somebody would have dental problems and then open their mouth wide open and it would just look gross. So why are you doing this? Why you got to put this on there for everybody to see? It makes your stomach churn. It's okay for the ads. They can put anything out there. But as creators, we got to be so careful, especially but only the conservative creators. You see how they play that game. Anyway, that's why I need help. Let's see. Maybe Europe forgot total war is like. Yeah, you'd think I'd get them wiped out in World War II. They wouldn't. But they do seem to forget it for some reason. But Europe's got a long history of all those countries fighting each other. Black Smoke Sim, Captain Trips. Iran has been a week away from having a nuke since the 80s. Yeah, especially listen to BB, right? If you listen to BB. We gave up the base in Afghanistan. That was a strategic error to invade Iran. That was also strategic from the standpoint of China, Russia. But you know what? The Afghans charged the base and just overwhelmed it. It's because somebody decided on the base to fly one of those multicolored flags that they consider to be extremely offensive over there. It's like, duh. Basically, they were asking for it in that country. You just don't do some places. You just don't do certain things. You just lay low. Anyway, huge earthquake in the Philippines. That's right, Tactical. We just found that. Tactical Matt Foley. It's all connected. We have lava flowing all under our fault lines. Gen X project. I'm in Idaho. I'm still here. That's good to know. Why can't Israel fight its own wars? Because they want us to finance them and use up all our ammo. You got to, I got a sneaky suspicion the whole point of the Balfour Agreement, the whole point of the Rothschilds being behind a lot of this stuff is to create the Hegelian dialectic problem of putting the whole world at war. So we will, in the end, accept their peace, which is global governance with them in charge. And then they'll put that chip in you. But anyway, Dutch is on Twitch if you want to watch him. Did you get taken off YouTube? I'm concerned their infrastructure can't handle the rescue relief here in Idaho. Well, just think of what happens if you get the whole infrastructure nationwide taken down. We had a big F5 tornado went through in April, I believe it was 27th of 2011. And I got my worms, first order worms in right the day before. Red worms right before. I call them little red twisters. That tore our area up really bad. It almost hit Browns Ferry nuclear power plant. It went right down one of the power lines coming out of there. And we were out of power for a week. It would have been longer, except Redstone Arsenal decided, for the sake of the community, to shut the base down for a whole month and not take in power there so the community could get its power restored. And they had a generator there too, so that was helping. So they got out and ran a lot of temporary lines and things and got the civilian community back up fairly amazingly fast. But I went north hunting. I had to go all the way to Paducah, Kentucky to find some generators. Everywhere I went, I took off really quick that day, but people went way ahead of me real fast and got generators. This is what happens. Stores get empty in an event like that. And the whole time I was going up the interstate, I-65, there were tons of bucket trucks heading south like the cavalry. But when it's nationwide, that ain't going to happen because everybody's got it all in their own backyard. Can't happen. So FEMA is set up to be able to deal with problems in most of your EMS community in one place or another place. When you get something, even if the San Andreas fault went and the Cascadia subduction zone went, we wouldn't be able to handle that. That would be too big. We probably couldn't handle the New Madrid fault going off. So there's certain skills or catastrophes that's beyond our capacity to handle in any good fashion. So, yeah, it would be very catastrophic. I would not want to live in Seattle between Mount Rainier and the Cascadia subduction zone. That is not a good place to be. I would not want to live in that bowl that's called Los Angeles, because it will be Lost Angels for sure. Anyway, it does. These are not places you want to be. Yeah, 7.4. We'll have to see what comes out of the Philippines. I wonder what time that hit. East of, okay, Davil. I've got a guy I work with a little bit down there. I got to find out how he's doing. So, land work, garden of soul. Land worker, gardener of soul. Okay, that's a good title. Haven't heard from friends in the Philippines yet. Okay, yeah, I'm going to send a message to my friend over there after we get off. Hope he's okay. All right, so we've gone to the bottom of the chat room here. Tactical map failed. It was a mess. Oh, yeah, you get a 7.4, you're going to have a big mess. There's no way around it. And it's probably going to be aftershocks for that. Tuscaloosa was unrecognizable. Yeah, September 27th, 2011. Right. That town got tore up real bad. Are you in Tuscaloosa? Tactical Matt Foley? Random video game player. I live in St. Louis. Anthony Madrid goes, yeah, St. Louis and Memphis aren't built for it. You got these bridges across the Mississippi, they're gone, and it's going to really mess up trade here in the United States. And you might be able to get stuff through in and out of I-10 to the south, and maybe some of the interstates way up north, but it's really going to mess up trade. Everything has to be rerouted significantly. Steve Poplar, oh yeah, where did he move over there? He's in South Dakota right now. He's not in the Philippines at the moment because he's actually looking at having two homes. He's moving. He's leaving Pennsylvania. It's just a little too purple for him. So what you're seeing is there's a trend. Prepper channels like me who decide to go. I was already homesteading out east, but I decided that homestead wasn't secure enough, so I came out here. Nate, the Canadian prepper, he went west. He bought a big homestead, put a lot of money in it. He's one of those guys that does make a lot of money with his channel and the store, but he gave up his store probably because of tariffs. I don't know what the real reason was behind that, or maybe it was just too distracting. I mean, you can only handle so many things, and I understand that. I get a lot of distractions, and it's really hard to bring content to you guys. I got a day job trying to run a homestead and other things, and it's just I don't have time to sleep. I got everybody's there telling me I need to get up with the shovel in my dam. I worked to midnight last night on my day job, so and now the rain's coming in, and there's nothing I can do but just cross my fingers and hope. We didn't expect to get this kind of rain this late because the monsoon season typically is over by now. So we'll just have to see how that pans out. No, Birmingham Metro currently, T-Town from 2013 to so you're in Bullingham. Bullingham, boy, there's all kind of bad stuff happening there in Bullingham and Montgomery. The news I'm getting from Colonel Cole, he sends me these articles all the time about bang bangs. Yikes. It's going bad in some of those areas. But then there are blue run cities. Even in the south, you got some. CP now wants to leave Canada. That's right. That's what I'm saying. Canadian prepper wants to leave. So is he going to still be a Canadian prepper when he moves in the United States? Maybe he'll be the American prepper. Who knows? Really, just to keep momentum, he'll probably keep the same name on his channel. I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting. Anybody smelling martial law coming? Hey, Earthworm. That's a good name. I don't know. Anton, where's quit your swiveling? Get out of my state. What? Oh, sniveling. Are you trying to run out, Anton? Yep, higher. Yeah, that rate in Birmingham at the moment. Are you in the city? If you're in the city, you need to think hard about that. This little blue bottle came to me from friends in near Birmingham. It used to be the Blue Bottle Bunny Farm. If y'all remember, they used to be on YouTube. Susan used to do a lot of music. She's very talented. I've done some videos with them too. I was prepping before it was, yeah, we didn't even, some of us started prepping before they called it prepping. It was just survival. It was being ready. The prepping word came later. Some of us were already doing it. New Days is ahead of the curve in that area. So at least New Days got away from the city. She's in a real remote area. Good place to be. So, Maine is one of the places that should do well. I need to, let's see if I open the chat room here on this thing here. I think I can open it up on another place and check it's on. I don't know if, no, it's not coming up. Where's it at? There it is. I want to check my email to see if it's been sent to my PayPal account. Sometimes, or let's see, whoops. And guys, give me a second. Because I like to give credit. Oh, yeah. I don't see Colorado Jan in the house. She might be in here. She's real generous to it. Greg, what do you think about Space Force program moving to Huntsville? Well, it's a good thing for the Space Force because the ratio of PhDs and engineers in Huntsville is the highest in the free world. So they got a big labor pool to pull from, a big brain trust in the Huntsville area. And it's grown, and that was true decades ago. It's even more true today. So and there's a lot of tech infrastructure in Huntsville, far more than you got some tech industries, you got some ULA, you got some lunch stuff. I've been up to Century City. I've been to their where they have all their sim facilities for rocket launches there. I've been inside of those, but they're not anything like you'd find in Huntsville. So they're better off going to Huntsville. Now for Huntsville, it makes you more of a target. So Huntsville will be more of a target. So I may be glad I'm out. Monsoon season in the desert is a coin toss. Yep, Jason, I got a coin toss here. And it's been landing on tails too much. Let's see. I was going to go check my email. Hang on, I got to find it. Give me a second. I'm talking too much. And we'll see if Kim Possible is in the house tonight. Kim Possible is probably not in the house tonight. Otherwise, I'd have an email. All right. So Sam Turner's been very generous tonight. We really appreciate that. And country people, just a way of life. Yeah. So when I grew up, everybody, grew big gardens, canned a lot of food. And I knew a lot of people that had a huge storage. They would put back 7 years worth of canned goods. And I'm talking some really big families. So they had a lot of stuff put back. And it wasn't called prepping, it wasn't called survivalism. It was just being pragmatic. It's what people did. Almost when I was a little kid, everybody had their own chickens, milk cow, garden. You raise a few pigs, maybe some cattle. That was just the way it was. And then, and that was before we had a power grid that was so vulnerable. Actually, it was starting to be then. We just didn't know it, but not near like it is today. But, it wasn't prepping, it wasn't survivalism. It was just living. It's the way people used to do things. Why? Because it's a tradition based on how the world operates. I mean, in reality, you could have a hailstorm wipe your crop out. They'd save a lot of seed because your first seed you plant might get wiped out. Late frost, in 1817, there was a year without a summer. Crops got frozen, even down in Alabama. In the Northeast, it was real bad. So a lot of people in the Northeast moved to the Midwest. That really drove a lot of settlers out that way. 5 a.m. ET. Yeah, all right. I got to hit the hay. Yeah, it's 2 a.m. here almost. I'm basically West Coast time until y'all quit. Do y'all move off daylight savings time? Then I'll be back, Mountain time. I mean, I'm in Mountain Standard Time, not Mountain Daylight Time. But right now, I'm on the same time clock as the West Coast. I can weekly. Canning for 50 years. Wow. Hey, this woman knows what to do with food, too, I'm going to tell you. New Days knows how to cook. So amazing. She's got some amazing culinary skills, I'll tell you that. Neighbors were neighbors. Oh, yeah. When I was a kid, all the neighbors went in together to work on things. If you had to get your crop in or you were hauling hay, everybody pitched in. When I was a kid, if somebody died in the family, everybody would show up with food. The family that was suffering the loss wouldn't be cooking anything. Everybody would just show up bringing dishes. And everybody cared for each other. Neighbors were neighbors, very neighborly. Everybody knew everybody, but they all pitched in together. You want to offer to pay somebody some money, they wouldn't take it. But if you did something for them, they would try to throw money at you, a lot more than it was worth. So, that was just the way, but you knew you not to take it, turn it down. Nah, I can't have that. That was just the way it was. Now everybody's on the take. Back then, everybody was on the give. Imagine that. People were on the take. They were on the give. They helped each other out. It was a community. It's what we need today. But there was also morals back then. You know, we all took nugs to school back in the day. There wasn't no bang bangs, maybe because everybody had nugs and nobody was that stupid. But there's been another thing to it. You just wouldn't do certain stupid things because you had large extended families. And it would be like, well, what would grandma, you might be mad at your parents, but what would grandma, everybody had a grandma or grandpa or a favorite uncle or aunt, and you didn't want to shame them. It's like, well, what would grandma think? What would Uncle so and so think? What would Aunt so and so think if I did it? You wouldn't do such nutball things like kids do today. You wouldn't think about it because you had even if it weren't kin, you had community members that you cared about. They cared about you. You cared about them. You wouldn't do stupid stuff back in the day. These days, these kids are totally unmoored. They're raised by the wolves, the gangs, each other, because mom and dad are too busy working. It's usually a single parent household, and that single parent has got to make a living. And those kids are just running around. They're raised by television and each other. And television's horrible, especially today. And pop music. I mean, not pop, but gangster rap, that kind of junk. And it's not a black or white thing. All the white boys are listening to the same stuff. And they're glorifying gangsters and all that kind of nutball stuff. The media culture does it. It comes right out of Hollywood. They glorify that stuff. So that's sad. Morals and scruples. Amen. 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 You wouldn't let Tasper, you wouldn't let grandpa down. It would just hurt you to think about it. It would literally hurt you to think about it. You just wouldn't do it. Hey, you're in Nashville, Jenna. How you doing? Yeah, you couldn't think of doing that because you love these people. They loved you and you loved them, and you just wouldn't do something stupid. Yeah, social media today is terrible. Somehow we need to get back to that. And it ain't gonna be easy. Well, one thing, everybody started chasing factory jobs going over the world. Yeah, see, back then it was more of an agrarian society, and people stuck together. The community where I grew up on Sand Mountain was, that community wasn't really developed until it started getting developed, in the 1880s. It was a frontier, really. Even in the South, we had frontiers. And there was nothing there until the 1880s. Settlers started moving in. It was, part of the Appalachian chain, but it happened to be a real good place to grow stuff. But almost everybody from there came from pretty much the same community over in North Georgia. And everybody there, all these families knew each other from even back then. And they had family and friends in North Georgia. But they knew each other. And once someone would come over, they'd get other friends from the same place come and say, hey, look, the soil's great here. We're growing good stuff. And Sand Mountain is still really good for growing vegetables. And when I was in Huntsville to go on the farmer's market, over half the farmers came from Sand Mountain. It was a really good place to grow stuff. That's where I grew up. My family had its roots in Northwest Georgia. And the Allison family, they were the first white people that moved in that area in Northwest Georgia. They bought their land at a decent price from the Cherokee Indians and lived amongst them. Peacefully lived there. They were part of the community in those days. My grandpa's town had a dinner lunch whilst even there's only like 50 people there. Yeah. Good morning, true. It's these guys are moving weapons into Venezuela from Russia, though they have been. Iran supplied a lot of missiles to Venezuela. I did videos on that back during Trump's first administration. And I was laying that out to you guys way back then, over 4 years ago. And showing how these weapons were moving over there. Missiles to Venezuela from Iran. And that was probably sponsored by China. So China, Russia, and North Korea all have big hands in Venezuela. So that's got to be part of it. the national defense posture. 1 minute warning, Nobel Peace Prize winner announcement. Yeah, I don't think Trump's going to get it. Isn't it interesting how Barry, Soweto, Barack Obama, about as soon as he was sworn in, he got a Nobel Peace Prize. What did he do? Nothing. In fact, he had a big hand on what went down in Libya, which wasn't pretty. And he'd show me where he made peace anywhere. He once bragged real giddily. They said he was good at, I won't use the K word, let's just say offing people. He and Hillary both were all giggly about, what happened to Gaddafi. Gaddafi had been a bad character back in the Reagan administration, in a way. He was trying to be the tough guy. He was just drawing lines, but he wouldn't stand up behind it. But he had a change of heart after 9/11. He gave up all this stuff. Where did that get him? So no country's got a nuke or is making them is going to give them up now, because it hadn't gone well for any. Peace Prize to Kim Jong-un. Nothing would surprise me. Don't tell who they'll give it to. I have no clue. No surprise, I don't think Trump would get it. Only if he made peace between Russia and Ukraine. But he won't get it this time around. Even if he did, he probably wouldn't get it. He even said, I'm not sure why I'm getting this award. Oh, you mean Barry? I don't know. Guess who won? Maria Corino. Oh, Venezuelan politician. Are you serious? Wow. Oh, well. Wow. Greta sailboat. Lordy, lordy, lordy. Well, I heard she's in a bug-infested cell. Well, if she's a student of Klaus's, the House of Klaus, then she can eat the bugs. She ought to be happy, right? Plenty to eat. A lady with a good democracy, that said. Yeah, I don't know her right off. Maybe she is on the right side of that. I don't know. But still, what has she actually accomplished? She made peace. Venezuela is not a very peaceful land. Like I said, a third of their people's left. They want to take over Guyana. They're anyway. Yeah. Oh well. Oh well. Yeah, some are thinking that Trump may take retribution on Norway if he didn't get it. So we'll have to see what he does. I don't know. Yeah, Greta. That's right, New Days. You will eat some worms. I haven't done it yet. They actually, red worms are said to have a nutty flavor to them. And there are a lot of people that would actually dry them out and grind them up and put them in brownies and cookies. So, yeah, I went to at a Christmas party. I bought brownies to it, and I had one of the other. Me and another one of my buddies had one of the guys there after he was eating on some of my brownies, thinking he was eating those kind of brownies. We had a lot of fun with him. He actually believed it. It wasn't the case. It has that sovereign fun. My dad would rather tease somebody and eat when he's hungry, and I got a little bit of that in me. So I do like to have a little fun. Oh well, we've been there late enough. It's 2:05 my time. It's 5 on the East Coast, and I got to go to bed and get up in a couple hours. And I can't just go straight to bed. I got a few things to do first, like put a thumbnail on this and do a bunch of processing for the video. But Tiffany, I hear you. I hear you, girl. You're right. It's gross. Yeah, I'm not going there. Anyway, she is a democracy campaigner. Latin lettuce brownies. Oh, so is she with Maduro or again with? Oh, egg guess. Thank you, New Days. All right, I go. Guess how many eggs I got today? New Days? No, it's not four. I got four a couple days ago, but one of them was broken, so I technically only got three that day. Tiffany, let's see. What do you say there? The first thing they said when they announced it's a woman. Oh, how many eggs did I get today, folks? I didn't get any yesterday. Zero. How many I get today? All right, keep guessing. Nobody got it yet. Bingo, Jason Smith. Three eggs. Jason Schmidt from Area 51. What you do? You fly over with the UFO and watch? Oh, I wish it was nine. Now, these hens, the same hens I got, were laying 11, 12, up to 14 eggs a day back in the summer when we got them from. What's a woman? The woe man. Woe and the man, Mr. Mission Control. He said, hey, Kim Possible's in the room. And my phone hooted at me, so I better check my email. Hey, we got a donation. $20 from Kim Possible. Well, salute to Kim Possible. Thank you, Kim. All right. Yeah, Greg, what you said about the crash. All right. So, folks, start prepping. Get your preps going. Oh, Area 51 crash. I wasn't really talking about that, but yeah, Jason always tells us in Area 51. Yeah, there was some unusual stuff about a crash in Area 51. The FBI is investigating it. I don't know all the details yet. I've not really dug into that one yet. So yeah, thank you, Kim. Appreciate it. All righty. Well, folks, we need to call it a night. Seriously. I got to get up in a little bit. Kim's still guessing eggs. It was three. It was three. Jason got it. Jason got it. GPS spoof drone. Yeah. Jason got it. Three eggs. Where's Arnold Smith at tonight? Was your brother Arnold, Jason? Maybe it's Gray. Gray's. Oh. Anyway. Yeah, what crashed? Will we ever know? What crashed? Well, all the test pilot stuff they do, you can expect some crashes. All right, folks. Yeah, like I said, I got to go. So, big salute to Samuel Turner for all of his super checks. Big salute to Kim Possible. Thank you both. Thank you all very much for your super chats. Mods, thank you very much for keeping the channel clean. Seen some messages got deleted. And I think special thanks to New Days for posting links and taking some of the bad comments out. I never even saw what they were, which is pretty good. I ain't seen them. I ain't seen what, the grays? Maybe there's a new blackbird. Oh yeah, let's talk to the new bird. Let's hope it wasn't nothing too bad. I don't know. Let's hope. I don't know if they lost anybody in that crash or not. Get some rest. I got to do that. But it's going to take me an hour or two before I can even hit the hay. I got to get up real quick after that. So, thank you, Jason, for the thumbs up call. Make sure, guys, that after I post a video, you go and leave some comments and maybe comment to other people's comments. Give me some thumbs up and share my videos, because this platform, they ain't no likey what I say, apparently. So help me out. Spirit, heart, gods, and goddesses, Have a good day, everyone. Yes, thank you. All right, folks. So, with all that said, let me open this up again. I'll close this window down. I just want to say to everyone, keep your eyes wide open, head on a swivel. If you go down into Mexico, really watch out, because the word's already out that the cartels are going to target American tourists. Just got to remember, the same guys are up here in the United States. That's who Trump's trying to get out, and other people trying to stop them and get them out. When things get really bad, it'll get really bad right here at home. So, and crime is going off the charts right now. Like I said, the kids are raised by the wolves, social media and each other. And we got all kind of mayhem happening in this country. There's a lot of assaults on people out of the blue for no reason. People are just attacking each other. And then you get all the civil strife we're having. Seriously, keep your eyes wide open, head on swivel. Seriously, stay situationally aware at all times and get your preps together. Get your preps together. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, I was working at midnight. I wanted to go live last night. I couldn't because I was working at midnight. Yeah, on my day job. So I really want to thank everybody. Thank you all for being here. And yeah, thank you, Super Chatters. Thank you, mods. Thank you, one and all. And I want to give special thanks to Sam Turner and Impossible. And just make sure you share my videos. And so, to one and all, a good night, a good day, wherever you are. Ho, ho, ho. Greg out.